Thank you for watching. In this video, I want to talk about what I think about raising the minimum wage and why it may be a little controversial. Now, I was having this conversation with my mother, who I love, and we just disagreed on this thing about raising the minimum wage. And here's why I am against raising the minimum wage, even though I used to work a lot of jobs that paid minimum wage. So at a high level, it's essentially a game of chess versus checkers here. So at first glance, raising the minimum wage sounds good. Go from $8 an hour, go from $10 an hour. Let's just make the minimum wage $50 an hour. Okay, great. Sounds good. At first glance, you know, everybody's making more money. But once you study economics, microeconomics or macroeconomics, which I did in college, you'll pretty much learn very quickly that sometimes you have unintended consequences. And it's been shown before in areas where there's been like a sudden increase in the demand for labor, like people drilling oil up there in Alaska, or people mining for gold, you know, during the gold rush that recently happened again, you know, maybe from 2010 to 2015. So what happens is that when you raise the minimum wage, people have more money to spend. Sounds great. Sounds good. Well, what tends to happen is that business owners know that people have more money to spend, so they just raise the prices accordingly, right? So, for example, what's been proven over time, and I mean, I'll give you some Google terms to research, is that if the minimum wage goes up by pretty much like 20%, you'll find that over time, the costs are going to go up by the same amount. So it's like a zero-sum game. So there's an unintended consequences of raising the minimum wage, increasing the supply of money, essentially devalues the current money that's there, and you have inflation. So basically the prices go up. So you'll have something where if everybody's making $50 an hour, there's more money available in the system. A business is going to want to make a profit. They know that people can afford more, and businesses charge what the market will bear, right? That's another thing I learned. They don't charge what's fair or reasonable. They charge exactly the maximum amount they can charge before somebody gets something else. And there's this concept of like price elasticity and stuff like that. I don't want to get into to bore yourself. But overall, the point I'm making is that if you raise the minimum wage, eventually the unintended consequences is that prices for everything are going to go up, and you're back at the same place where you started from. I think a better idea would be, instead of raising the minimum wage, maybe finding a way to have more jobs available, right? When you have more jobs available, then the demand for labor increases and wages will naturally rise. It's the same reason why people who do open heart surgery make a lot more money than a person who works at Starbucks. Because the person who can do open heart surgery, it's a lot harder to find that person. They can demand a higher market rate, not what's fair, but you know, the maximum amount they can charge. Whereas a person who works at Starbucks or McDonald's on the fast food, that's not a position where they're going to have trouble finding those people. That's why those wages are lower. So again, it's kind of controversial. That's why I am against raising the minimum wage. Instead of raising the minimum wage, I think we need to find just more jobs overall, and that'll naturally increase the price of labor. So let me know what you think. Thanks.